What's up YouTube, this is MetallicTCG here, coming at you with a deck profile for Sacred Beasts. So, I did actually build the deck more or less in real life, and I did want to showcase it in real life. However, there are several extra deck cards I didn't want to fork over the cash for, especially with the coronavirus being a thing where locals really isn't much of a thing. So, I decided to do a Yugioh Pro deck profile just so you guys will be able to get a basic image of what the deck is, and more or less how it functions. So, if you do like these type of videos, be sure to subscribe for more videos, and let's just jump in the deck. So we're playing one Screaming Scraper, so I really do like him because he is actually pretty good with Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, because again, having a monster with 8,000 attack and they attack all your opponent's monsters at once is pretty good, especially based on his normal stats as well. So we're going to play one copy of him, plus he does have Graveyard Recursion as well. One Hamon, or again, we're playing one of each of the Sacred Beasts at least, but with two Raviels just because we want to make sure that Dimension Fusion Destruction is live. It's actually pretty good having him, because if you can destroy a bonus monster by battle, send something out of the graveyard, do an additional 1,000. You never really use Raviel, to be honest with you, just because, again, you only have 3 to 4 continuous traps in the deck, so... And again, the likelihood of them all being in the graveyard is very slim. We are playing 2 Raviels, though, because I do like having additional Raviel, especially after we use, like, Dimension Fusion Destruction. We still have an extra one to be able to special summon out with cards like Dark Summoning Beast or some of our other support like Hyperblaze, so it is nice having access to a second one. Now, initially I didn't want to play the Danger Engine because it was pretty much like what everybody else was doing from what I was seeing with other lists after I kind of built my own and just wanted to like get other people's take on the deck. But the Danger Engine is pretty good. It does give you an additional draw engine, and oftentimes you will be able to get a monster out that you can use for a Link summon. So it does have a good place in the engine for sure. So we're playing one Nessie, one Tsuchinoko, and one Jackalope. And again, it just works out pretty well. We are playing 2 Dark Summoning Beasts. Again, you don't really get this guy out too often, but when you do, it's really nice because you can special summon one from the deck, being the Sacred Beast. And he does also have a banish effect too to recur them from the graveyard as well. But again, you don't get him out too often, so 2 works fine. You do have ways of bringing him back from the graveyard with cards such as opening the gates, which is really good because you can discard a card, special summon one Fiend monster with 0 attack from your graveyard. And again, it just kind of helps you set up your graveyard really well. This deck does have a great graveyard recursion and setup. Playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom of Joyous Spring because, again, hand traps are annoying all the same. 2 Dark and Beckoning Beasts. Again, it lets you get one of the Sacred Beasts or any card that specifically lists them, which is a great list, being Destruction Fusion, Opening the Gates, or even Fallen Paradise. So, again, it's just really good and useful for that one. But again, you can also normal summon one Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense again, in addition. So you can normal summon him, get your search, and then summon him, and then potentially just go off from there. So it does help enable having a Sacred Beast on turn 1, or pretty close to it. Chaos Summoning Beast is also pretty good too. You could use 1 for 1 if you really need to. You can special summon a Sacred Beast from your hand, which is really nice, and then you can banish this guy to add 1 Fallen Paradise from your deck to your hand. Again, Fallen Paradise, fantastic card. We'll get a little bit more into when we get to it, but it's just really nice having it. 1 for 1, what you mentioned, graveyard setting up, but also something Chaos Summoning Beast, really good. 1 Regeki, I'm actually kind of mixed on this card, honestly. You probably don't even need to run Regeki in this deck, but it does help break boards that do have more of a control style, but it is up to what you want to do. 1 Upstart Goblin, again, we're summoning a ton of monsters, so having their life points increased by 1,000 really ain't going to do much, and us getting that additional card is nice. But with the card number deck being 41, you can honestly just get rid of it and be fine. Foolish Burial to set up your graveyard, of course. Destruction Fusion, Dimension Fusion Destruction. Honestly, there is no reason why this should actually be a 2, so let's just do that. Because again, you're only going to use it once, and you can search out the card if you really need to. It's basically going to be your Miracle Fusion to be able to special summon Armitile. And then if you control one of them, your opponent can activate any of your cards' response and return it to its effect. So it is pretty nice, and also not taking any battle damage evolving it too helps remove any negative effects of him. Because again, his attack's only 10,000 during your turn. Recall by the Grave, again, hand traps suck. So with Ash Blossom, again, monster effects and any other thing kind of sucks, but again, it just kind of slows them down. But Call the Grave, you know, hand traps suck. We're playing 1 Super Polymerization. Again, a lot of times players are playing with Dark Attribute monsters, and we have on a deck full of Dark monsters, so you can use Super Polymerization to be able to bring out, like, you know, Starving Gun of Fusion Dragon, or even potentially Prada Plant Dragon Pastella. It really just depends. And you can just use Super Fusion, because again, Dark Monster is very rampant, but we also have other fusions in the extra deck as well. 2 Opening the Graves. It basically allows you to search out any card that lists one of the Sacred Beasts in its text, which is fantastic, and then you can also discard a card, Special summon a fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your graveyard, and once per turn if you control a level 10 monster, you can add a continuous spell from your graveyard to your hand. So again, great graveyard setting up, great bringing back monsters, build a special summon, others from the hand, deck, or graveyard, and getting more searches out. It's overall fantastic card, so you gotta play 3. 2 Fallen Paradise, you don't need to get more than 2 because again, you can search this out really easily, and they often don't really destroy Fallen Paradise. It pretty much allows you to get a pot of greed, and your opponent cannot target any of your Phantom Beasts, your Sacred Beasts, or Armor Tile with card effects. They can't be destroyed by them, while you control at least one of them. And again, the pot of greed is just super huge. Impermanence, to be honest, I actually don't have these in real life, but I pretty much have them swapped out like Breakthrough Skill because, again, it more or less does the same thing, but this just has a little bit more application in your hand and also the column. So, again, Impermanence, really good. Sacred Beast Awakening, this is really good. It just helps ensure you get a ton of life points whenever your opponent monster special summons or summons something normally. You also get to activate the effects of your monsters your opponent controls if you have 2 Sacred Beasts, which is not hard to do at all. And then 3, if you have 3 Sacred Beasts on the field, which is doable, but it's not easy to than 2. You pretty much have a one-sided Macros Cosmos, which is great. And once per turn, if you control a level 10 or monster, you can add 1 continuous trap from your graveyard or your hand. So you can be able to help add, more copies of this if you need to, or even Hyperblaze. Hyperblaze is actually pretty good. Again, you don't really use Uriah's effect, the summon Uriah effect at all. What I mainly go for is to discard 1 card to add or special summon one of the Sacred Beasts from your graveyard. Again, just sets it up, and you have a bunch of cards that banish themselves from the grave for more effects. So, again, basically you just want to get out your Sacred Beast as fast as you can, and then just start swinging for some heavy damage. And again, Shimmering Scraper does a great job at doing that too, and this also has a lot of negation and protection effects. So, it's overall a pretty fun deck. Again, when it comes with the extra deck, I've never really went into it in testing, besides a few cards, and I'll kind of talk about them. Armatile, obviously, he is a 10,000 attack beat stick monster and also protection from card effects and targeting from card effects if you get out the right combination of cards. Starting Venom Fusion Dragon, pretty good, especially with the super polarization play. Same with Predaplan Dragon with Stella. Murdon of the Swamp is also pretty good. Again, this is very stock, honestly, with the extra. You don't really touch into it, but it works. We do play level 10, so, doing some additional burn damage is nice, and also targeting destruction is really good, because this does target specific cards. You are playing the Nightmare Engine, you're also playing a Barricade Board Blocker. Again, discarding 1 card during the end phase and adding a continuous spell or field spell from your graveyard to your hand is really nice, because, again, sets you up your dark level monsters with 1 or 2 stars, and also just gets you back your Opening the Graves and Fallen Paradise, which is really cool. IP Masquerena. Also, we're playing Cross Sheep. We do pretty much play nearly every type of extra deck, so it just works. We are also playing 1 Predaplan Fusion to be able to facilitate quicker Dimension Fusion Destruction plays. Link Karibo is also an option as well. And we're playing a few other... These 2 cards don't really come up, but it is pretty nice to have access to it. But yeah, again, just a pretty quick deck profile about what we have for Sacred Beast. I'm still doing a lot of testing, so I'll probably do an update in the next month or so. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.